National Health Outpatients Note. Going by the consultant, if you all have read the description on the right, the National Health Outpatients Note, as the consultant for the defendant, states that even though there was a serious memory loss, there was no injury, there was no head injury. And I just cannot understand how a professional witness could make such a statement without taking a look at any of the X-rays, or and in this statement he refers to outpatient notes, you know, and there's only two people basically we see in outpatient, and both of them are neurosurgeons, and one of them is a Japanese professor or Chinese professor in neurosurgery, and the other one is a neurosurgeon, and I can't see them making such a comment in their report, because I've talked to them about my wife's injury, and they said to me that there isn't any surgery they could give her for this problem. They're saying, well, what do you expect if a washing machine fall on you at 30 feet? You know, and to think that this expert consultant neurologist from Harley Street has made such an awful statement here, saying that that my wife could be fabricating this whole thing, you know, and it's and he goes on to make a statement that and she may be even suffering from Alzheimer's more than that she's had an head injury, a severe Alzheimer's. You know, it's like to think that it's bad enough that she had this injury. On top of it, that's, you know, like an expert witness is making this statement and saying to you that you're lying about your head injury, and you must have severe Alzheimer's. What is puzzling me is why would someone make such a false statement, you know? The thing is, I thought expert witness supposed to be neutral. You know, the thing is, who is this person in outpatients that made this report? You know, why are they lying? And if they're not lying, if these two neurosurgeons have not done this statement, and why is this expert witness lying? You know, and if there was a report written by the outpatients in the outpatients notes, is who is this person that written it? To think like it's so appalling to think that someone has written this. I would like to know if anybody on YouTube belongs to Barks in London, you know, that know anything about this case. You know, if you could take a look into Mrs. Berry's notes, you know, to see does this particular statement exist there. You know, they might be able to help us in YouTube out to get down to the basic truth of the matter. Because, you know, I don't think my wife is fabricating the whole thing of with her memory loss. You know, I'm the one who's got to take the sharp end of the stick if she is, because I'm the one who's has to do all the work and do all what I have to do. You know, basically he's telling me that she's not only lying to the defendant, but she's also lying to me, because I'm the one who's got to do all this work that this extra load I'm taking on, and worrying about her not being able to remember anything, you know. So it'll be interesting, you know, because I'm sure there's some people like who know somebody who works at Barks, or you know, the nurse that wrote, or somebody, you know, the probably the expert witnesses that wrote this report. You know, have you ever taken a look at the movie and her accident? Because may I say, the two consultant at Barks wasn't the consultant that was there immediately after the accident at the Royal London. And another thing, I can't understand why all the X-rays that was taken in the Royal London in emergency ward was all missing, and why it wasn't available for this expert witness to take a look at. In his report he states there was no imaging provided. So I take it there again, you see, he was employed by the defendant, and they only provided him with what they wanted him to see, you know. And to think that he's wrote a report with so little information, and he's made a terrible statement about her having Alzheimer's, and to think that he never even looked at the MRI scan. You know, most of my customers who are doctors said to me, well, you know, you should be able to tell by the MRI scan, but he's made this statement he never even looked at the scans. So it's very upsetting to think that we've been through all what we've been through, and all the pain and suffering that my wife had to succumb, and I had to be looking after her for this long period of time, and having to dismiss our first solicitor, which cost us 6,000. The second solicitor is demanding 6,000 because we're thinking of dismissing him now, and it's just been appalling that to think that we had two solicitors that hasn't worked in our interest till today. My wife still haven't had an expert witness of her own. You know, we've only got two expert witnesses that taken a look at her by the defendant. So why was a person who had a fractured 3 vertebrae and a head injury never had the opportunity and the option to have an expert witness of her own? Why is, you know, a board of our solicitors never found the need for my wife to receive her own expert witness? And why has her case been thrown out because we refuse to accept the defendant's expert witness report? And this is the whys that needs to be answered. I would carry on in further host of this problem of ours. Basically, we find ourselves, when I read the pre-action protocol that Lord Wolf wrote, it sounds all very fine. Everybody think we have a fantastic judicial system in this country, but these things are only worth the paper they're printed on if they're followed and they abide by. What's the use of producing a report like that? The pre-action protocol and CPR rules and all this sounds all fantastic, but it's not worth the paper that is printed on if the solicitors are not prepared to follow the rules. When you consider that a woman with head and spinal injuries till today haven't received rehab or had any expert witness of her own take a look at her to be able to make a fair and just report of the situation that she's in.